Walking the tank TV. Walking the tank TV. Walking tank TV.
Right, so you may be dealing with nitrate issues at the moment in the tank. They may be really high, or you may not be able to get them under control or to the level or ppm that you're looking to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through my top tips, or 4 top tips that I would do to get them reduced, keep them low, or if you're anything like me, like to keep them at a complete 0. So tip 1, it's probably one of the biggest things that we miss out on or overlook or don't check on as fish keepers, especially if you're new to the hobby. Nitrate will come out of your tap water. Not in all places, but especially down south, nitrate here where I'm based comes out at the legal limit. So what that then means is, even though we're trying to remove nitrate through water changes, we're actually putting nitrate back into the tank. So one of the first things to check is the nitrate that is coming out of your tap water itself, because even though you're doing water changes to remove nitrate, you're then just putting it back in. I'll show you how I get it removed. So nitrate canister is what I'll use again to remove the nitrate out of our tap. Like I said, they come out here in the south at 50 ppm, which is the legal limit. Again, you want to be keeping it, if you're looking to keep it around 0, I'm not going to achieve that through doing water changes. And again, a good sort of safe level for the fish is around a sort of 20-30 ppm maximum. So again, like I said, because it comes out of my tap high, I run it through 3-stage HMA, goes through the nitrate canister, removes the nitrate completely, and then the water that goes into my tank is at 0 nitrate. So a nitrate canister will pretty much remove all the nitrate that's coming out of your tap water before it goes into the tank. So what that means is you can be certain that every time you're doing a water change, you are putting absolutely no nitrate back into your tank whatsoever. Obviously you do have to regenerate it to obviously remove the nitrate from the resin to keep it down at 0, but that's easy enough to do. There's a video here on how you can regenerate nitrate resin. But tip number 1, obviously keeping the nitrates coming out of your tap for water changes at a nice big 0. Right, tip number 2, Countryside C3 Resin. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I absolutely swear by the stuff. If you've got a high nitrate, and I recommend it to all my customers that I go and visit as well, if we're doing a visit about water parameters and getting them to the best quality, I will recommend getting this stuff put into your filter or into your sump. I've seen I've seen water columns at an unreadable scale of nitrate or well up at the 100s, 160s, and within 48 hours it has been down to 0. So tip number 2 is Countryside C3 Resin. And tip number 3, your general housekeeping and good husbandry on the tank itself. Are you doing enough water changes to remove the nitrate from the tank? Again, going back to obviously talking about the tap water, and are you putting in low nitrates or no nitrates at all back into the tank? Is your tank itself overstocked? Okay, if you've got anything like a cichlid tank or a discus tank or maybe a large community tank, have you got too many fish that are contributing to too much of a nitrogen cycle to then give you them high nitrates? So one of the main things you need to look at is is your total water volume overstocked? Are you feeding a lot of live foods or raw meats, again contributing to the nitrogen cycle, increasing it more than the average tank to then give you more nitrates? Your filter, are you cleaning your filter out enough and often enough? Obviously don't forget that filter is there and designed to catch fish waste, fish foods. Obviously if you're not turning your filters off when you are doing, or when you're feeding the fish, that filter is going to collect a lot of fish food, okay, and that fish food is obviously deteriorating, or the fish waste is breaking down, again contributing or increasing the nitrogen cycle, and as a result increasing the nitrate that is in your tank. On that note, probably one of the biggest tips I could always give is when you do feed, if you can turn your pump off for 10-15 minutes while the fish are feeding, it will reduce the amount of food that gets pulled into the filter to then sit in the filter and break down, and again increase and add to your nitrate level. So again, tip number 3, make sure you're looking after the tank and your husbandry is up there where it should be. Tip number 4, plants. Okay, now this goes for whether they be in the tank itself or up on the top. Mark here from Discus Switch, you know, he has and runs a heavily planted tank, and as you can see in the video, he also runs plants and everything from mangroves, even sweet potatoes in the top of his tank or in the top of his sump, which means he's then withdrawing nitrate from the water column itself. Now nitrate is a great source of nutrition for aquatic plants and also anything else you want to grow, even the grass out in your garden if you want to water the garden with the tank water that comes out the tank. But again, a great way to extract nitrate from your tank is either to have the tank heavily planted, or like I say, if you've got anything, you can put pothos in the top. You can obviously, like I said, like Mark's done, he's growing sweet potatoes and mangroves. Anything, you just put it on the top of the tank, drop the roots into the water, and again, them plants and the plants inside the tank will use that nitrate as a natural food source and help get rid of some of that nitrate for you. Now, it's not something that's probably going to drop you down to zero, but if you're looking at a heavily planted tank and you're struggling with nitrates, it is probably going to help you to manage it and keep it at a lot more reasonable area that you want it. Obviously with these guys, with fish, you want to try and keep them around the sort of 0 up to 20, maximum top end 30 ppm. So the plants will help you do that. So just a quick video this week on probably one of the most popular or most often questions that you see on social media in regards to how to control, how to remove and manage nitrate within the water column itself. It's a question we get all the time as a company, and we often get asked and invited around to help manage. So what I'll do is the products that we use and recommend I'll put in the description below so they're easy enough for you to find. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and until then, I'll see you next time.